As an internet knife bro that has a serious lack of dumb list videos, let's do a dumb list. Best knives under 50, just in time for the war on Christmas. A month or 3 ago, my very specialized and socially awkward skill about knowing more about knives than other bipeds in my extended social circles came into play when my wife said, "Hey, this woman at work wants a field knife under 50. Do you have any recommendations?"
Heck yes, I do.
So I gave her several knives to bring to work. My wife was the buffer between me and her normal human coworkers.
Hey, you guys like knives?
Smart move. Some of the knife brands were Spyderco's CVVs, the Rat 2, some other bullshit. Then she came back home and said all of her coworkers mused the knives were too big, as in too tall from the side. So tactically reassessing, I sent a Kershaw Showtime, trying to not think like a knife person, and the coworker chose it.
Does not compute.
The selection of knives I sent all had locking blades, pocket clips, and were under $50. So starting with the I like that you like it, the Kershaw Showtime is a knife for people who don't overthink steel, aren't overcompensating, don't need purpleness, brand names, or endorsements from wrestlers, although those are very important. I think the coworker also liked the weight of the steel handle and the assisted opening. I assume it's really hard for me to wrap my head around the whole thing. But for non-knife people or people not employed at Tops, the field knife is meant for cutting tie line, apples, zip ties, maybe tape, though not snitches, or for self-offense. Just regular old people who've never heard the word bushcraft or think Lynn Thompson is someone's real nice aunt. Steel is okay, so you'll have to sharpen it more, but it's apparently attractive to non-knife people. It's, compact without being too small, and about $30. I'm really trying here, so it makes the list because reasons, okay? Links to the videos and places to buy are below this video in the description. Next, the knife I'd pick if I hadn't blown money on expensive ones, the Spyderco Tenacious. This one's a good size for people who don't complain about the blade having too tall a profile, apparently like some people do. Yeah, but there's a large hole in the blade. There are a few good things about it, like easy one-handed opening and closing. It's not too heavy, has a decent sized cutting edge and blade, and you can swap the pocket clip to several positions, like 4 of them. Now at about $30 to $40, there are a few downsides, like the steel is okay, not bad, similar to the Showtimes. It's stainless, but you'll have to sharpen it more than, say, a Paramilitary 2, one of their, more moderately priced knives. If you're not a regular watcher of the channel, here are things I like from a good everyday carry one. Under 4 ounces, a cutting edge over 3 inches, easy quick opening and closing with one hand, and a handle area of about 3.5 inches or more. The grip areas aren't the length of the whole handle, but the area you can comfortably rest your hand on. This fits about all of my qualifications for a good pocket knife. However, I like Spyderco's compression lock more than the liner lock found on this knife. So that's a main reason this is not my everyday carry. Okay, Spyderco's too big. Maybe $40 is too expensive because it cuts into your weed budget. How about the cheapest knife with a pocket clip I'd recommend? The K-Bar Dozier. You can regularly find this knife on Amazon for, $18. It's a cutting tool and not a fashion accessory, unless K-Bar does a run in purple. It locks, has an OK steel called OS 8, and has a hard-wearing plastic handle called Zytel. The Dozier is a popular cheap knife. The review I did it on had a lot of people chiming in who owned it, who liked it. If you're a channel regular, you'll know I own many more expensive knives, translated to pragmatists and not people who watch this channel regularly. Where knives aren't a lifestyle, I don't carry any of the knives with regularity seen in the video. I prefer designs, features, and carry options found on more expensive knives, like any internet knife showboat with bad spending habits. In that vein, but larger in the handle and blade department and just over $20, is the Byrd Cara Cara 2. It's here is the second cheapest one, and a larger alternative to the Dozier, and kind of uglier. Well, they're both ugly. Also a locking knife with a lock-back mechanism similar to the Dozier, a swappable pocket clip, made in China, a good alternative to the more expensive Spyderco Endura 4. With a touch of practice, you can close this one-handed, with a flick of the wrist and a twist of your head. It's easier to close one-handed over the Dozier. And as a note, since this is an overview video, the links to videos I mentioned earlier in the description are full reviews to these knives, a wonderful use of your internet time. What did you do today? I spent all day watching product reviews on the internet. Maybe you want something cheap but American, not named Budweiser. How about the Buck 110 Select? Comes in a few handle colors. Nearly one of the cheapest folding knives you can get. Made in USA for about $30. I think the 112 would technically be cheaper. It's the only knife in the video made in the USA. It isn't as small as a Dozier and more in line with the previous Cara Cara 2. The pocket clip is kind of ugly, but but it's deep carry, so it doesn't stick out of your pocket much. The handle's made from a plastic called FRN, and the blade is over 3 inches. If I didn't need a pocket clip, I would consider maybe a case sodbuster as an alternative to this. Those are made in the USA too. There's also the Buck 112, like I said. Similar styling to the 110, but I don't own it. The Buck is not easy to close one-handed like the Byrd because of the location of the lock release mechanism. Alright, one more. Folding knife designed for those who need smaller, lighter weight knives. The Fraction, the Kershaw Fraction, has a 2 3/4 inch blade, under 2 ounces, and costs about $30 depending on what color you need. Recommended for citizens and taxpayers who live in areas with terrible knife laws, like Europe or New York. A large kitchen knife is A-OK, remember, but a small folding pocket knife is suddenly a weapon. Did anyone ever see the Vice mini documentary where the chef got arrested for carrying a pocket knife, but not his larger kitchen knives? Go figure. Sounds like satire, but it isn't. This is a knife I recommended to a coworker who still carries it, of course, unless he doesn't. Now, how about some honorable mentions? All these knives preceding fit certain characteristics, and here are a few others to consider if those aren't your thing, and so people won't get mad at me that I left them out. All of the main recommendations share 4 main things. Under 50, locking, stainless steel, blade with pocket clips. So these particular knives will all still be under 50, but may not have some of the other essentials I think are important, like pocket clips or stainless steel blades. Well, stainless steel for most people. The CVV Praxis, a bit better looking than the Spyderco Tenacious, also kind of big. In the main recommendation list above, I was going for variety in sizes and price. I didn't include this one because it's basically in the same category as the Tenacious with regards to cost, weight, blade size, and with the stainless steel blade. I'd say if this knife is better looking to you than the Tenacious, go with it. It's made by a premium knife maker in China called We Knife. The Tenacious is a little easier to buy because more retailers carry it. Also, another honorable mention, the Honey Badger. Comes in 3 sizes, maybe 2 colors right now. It's an easy one-handed open and close, lightweight. Get the small if you need a compact knife in the size of the Ontario Rat 2, like seen here, or, get a large if you like the Tenacious size. Sorry I didn't include the Rat 2 here, but it's a good knife. You just see it a lot, so I decided to go with some alternatives. The Honey Badger will be harder to find in stores, but they're under $30 if you have Amazon Prime. Gonzos get a lot of hate because they basically rip off designs from other bigger knife companies. They aren't producing fakes, but since, say, this Gonzo sort of borrows design cues from the 941, people get pissed. The fact that they feel nothing alike in your hand and have many proportional and construction differences doesn't matter. It may as well be an exact copy to some people. If you're a knife IP law, White Knight, you're giving this video a thumbs down right now anyway. Boy, are they going to be upset in 20 years when the world runs out of ways to make knife designs look different from one another. Some astute people may point out, we're kind of already there. But the reason I bring Gonzo up is because they make well-built knives, mostly under $20. It's not going to get you points from knife snobs, but maybe you want something that cuts and not spend a lot of money. The larger Gonzo G753 is a good choice. And if you want a small and lightweight knife, the F753M, which looks similar, is good for a smaller knife. If you want cheap and unusual, the Mercator K55K is about $30 and would look great in Instagram pocket dumps. There's a pocket clip version available for a little more. That version is only available at one store in the US at a reasonable price called Harry J. Epstein. It comes in a carbon steel variety, so the blade needs some extra care to avoid rust. And last but not least, the Duke. No pocket clip, not locking, but with an extremely stiff slip joint back spring. It's for the hardcore who don't mind the blade discoloration and extra care that comes with the carbon steel blade. Don't mind the extra strength that comes with closing it either. I did a video about the best traditional knives, and the Duke and Mercator are in that one, so check it out if you like the looks or need some alternative suggestions. And for the 2 or 3 people who will invariably post about the lack of Victorinoxes, I want to say Victorinox Sentinel is a good choice, and one of the only single-bladed Victorinoxes. That lock with a clip, and it's under $30. However, I don't own that one. You can go and buy it and make a video about it. So like, subscribe, comment, Patreon, follow me on Instagram. Note that these are my opinions and are limited to the scope of knives I have reviewed and owned. Not every good budget knife will show up in this video, but thanks for watching.